Uh, 150, I think, like 5 minutes before 7 period. Michael, you getting in? Simone, you guys getting in? And then those of you at home, from this point forward, I'm requiring that you do the daily warm-ups, just in case I missed you or I don't want to mark you absent. So again, if you're at home, please do the daily warm-ups. Those of you in person, I'm not really requiring it, only on days that I'm not here. So on those days, you do have to mark and do the daily warm-up, like last Thursday. Was it last Thursday? I think it was. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. The code will always be on the upper right-hand corner for you guys to join. But basically what we're gonna do is we're going to show that two triangles are congruent. So what congruent means is that the shapes are the exact same size and the same shape. So we're gonna prove that we have shapes that are basically congruent. But that's what our goal is gonna be today for the first part of class. So for two shapes to be the same, and we're only gonna focus on triangles. I'm not really gonna focus on, well, here we have, actually give us, sorry, my notes were a little bit different for honors. So this is a four-sided shape. Again, we'll mainly focus on triangles and things like that. For two shapes to be congruent, all the angles have to be the same, all congruent, all corresponding angles, and then all sides have to be the same. So if you can show that, then you can show that the two shapes are congruent. Now, one thing that I want you to look at is I want you to look on the screen. This is fairly important, and for at least the first part of the notes, is you can do two things to determine what goes with what. Like this one's pretty easy. Like you can tell that, oh, well, A goes with E, right? What point goes with B? F, right? And then what goes with D? H. And then what goes with C? G, right? So you can tell by the colors that that's how it goes. But one thing that I want you to focus on is right underneath that, you have what's called the congruency statement. This statement states that a quadrilateral ABCD is congruent to EFGH. The pictures in your homework are going to be black and white. They're not going to be color coded. You're not going to be able to tell what goes with what. The congruency statement will never let you down. In other words, I don't need this picture to determine what goes with what. A corresponds with angle E, B corresponds with angle F, C corresponds with angle G, and then D goes with H. I don't need the picture, I need the congruency statement. So I want you guys to look at the statement, not the pictures. That will never let you down. Pictures sometimes can be a little bit confusing. So for example, here, if I had something like this, even though this one's pretty straightforward and it's pretty easy, you can do the pictures. I prefer not to use the pictures. I prefer to use this right here. Those of you on your phones, I'm assuming that you're looking at the lesson and not like YouTube or with your friends or Netflix or something like that. Make sure you're paying attention. Angle A goes with which angle to the shape on the right? D, right? So it goes with angle D. Angle B goes with angle E. I'm not looking at the picture, I'm looking at the congruency statement. Angle C goes with angle F. Does that make sense? You can also do the same thing with sides. You don't have to have the picture. I can do AB, right? If I look at AB, AB goes with what? If you look at just the statement, DE, right? So DE goes with AB. BC, which would be these two, goes with EF. And then the last one, AC, goes with DF. Do you guys see how using the statement, you can line up the sides and you can line up the angles? I think it makes it a little bit easier to do it that way. So I want you guys to try this one. I do not want you to use the picture. I want you to use, and if you don't have the Pear Deck or it's not easy for you to do, I'll have paper up there. You can write the answers on there, whatever makes it easier for you. So I want you to fill in the blanks on that one. And use the congruency statement. Use that. All right, so let's look at any, and you can participate through the chat or you can speak freely. If you look at this right here, angle K is congruent to what other angle? E, right? So angle K goes with angle E, and you can tell just by looking at the congruency statement right here. K goes with E. Angle H goes with angle F, right? And then even this one here that has 3 letters, you have KGH. So KGH would follow up or correspond with EGH. So this would be angle EGH. Is there any questions on how I'm getting those answers and how we're lining up? Pretty easy, right? Not too bad. And then you can do the same thing. Now, these are your angles over here to the left. Over here, you have your sides. EH goes with KF. FG goes with HG. And then GE goes with GK. Right? That's how you're kind of looking at that right there. Are there any questions on that? On how to mark those up? There's your answers for those. These are posted in the Google Classroom. So you do get a completed version of the notes in your Google Classroom. Now, sometimes you have to write the congruency statement. So for something like this, you would fill in the blank here. So what you do is you're gonna trust what you see in the picture. So everything's marked, all the angles are marked, all the sides of the marked, so we can prove that the 2 triangles are congruent. So we can show that. So if I start off with A and then go to B and then go to C, you must do the same thing when you go over to this one over here. We start at the right angle, go to the single marked angle, and go to the double. So we're gonna go right, single, double. So I do the same thing over here. I start at the right, single, double. So this would be triangle DEF. Even though it seems like very trivial and pretty straightforward, if you were taking a test and you got one of those letters wrong, it's wrong. It has to match up accordingly or it's going to be wrong. You have to make sure you do the corresponding letters correct. So this right here, I'm going to skip this activity. It talks about finding this angle here. I do want to ask you this though. If I asked you to find the measurement of this angle right here, how would you find the angle right there. That's a question mark, by the way. How would you find the measurement of that angle? You add up the two angles and then subtract from what? 180, right? That's one of the things that I want you to, I expect everyone in here to know in geometry. Anytime you know 2 out of the 3 angles, which we do, this is 51, this one is 90. Well, if you know 2 out of the 3, you're just going to add those up. All 3 have to add up to 100 degrees. So you're going to do 51 plus 90. You subtract it from 180, and then that's going to give you 39 degrees. Now these two triangles have to have the same measure because they have the same corresponding angles for that picture. So basically this just leads to what's called the third angles theorem. This just states that if 2 angles in one triangle are congruent to the 2 angles of another triangle, then that means that the third angle for each triangle have to be congruent as well. This just kind of makes sense. I mean, 2 out of the 3 are the same, that third has to be the same as well. So where would you use these? If you had 2 triangles that are congruent, if I look at this picture right here, I know to begin with that the 2 triangles are the same. They're the same shape, they're the same size. So angle W is congruent to angle M, which means this one has to be 62 degrees. Angle Y is congruent to angle K, and I know that by the statement up here, so that would be 35 degrees. So just like we did on the last problem, you can add both of those, subtract from 180, and that'll give you the measurement of that angle right there. And we would go through that. And if you know angle S, you know angle Z. These two have to be the same by the third angles theorem. So basically for this one, you would add those up, subtract from 180. That gives you angle S, which is the same as angle V. So both of those have to measure 83 degrees on those. So what I want you to do here right now is I want you to write an equation. So you're basically going to do this right. You can do it on a piece of paper. You can do it on the Pear Deck. I don't care how you do it. Yeah, I do. Amber, if you go to the front, that yellow paper will always be there. You're welcome to grab that. And if you need a pencil, let me know and I'll get you a pencil. I want everybody to fill in this blank right here, okay? You're gonna set up an equation. You're gonna choose one of those numbers is going to go in the blank. I want you to do that. You can do it on a piece of paper. Guys, make sure you're on the Pear Deck. I want you to fill in the blank. What number goes in that blank? 2x plus 6. You want to do it in the brain, but if I ask you, you better be ready to answer. So let me ask you guys, what number goes in that blank? 12, right? So 12 has to go right there. I mean, is it pretty, you guys have, you can see hopefully, but now never base it on, I also want to make a point here, don't ever base it on how the triangles look. It's not drawn to scale. So if I look at this right here, AT, I go up here, you want to confirm, you got to think like a mathematician. You can't make an assumption if it's not based on facts. So AT is congruent to OG. Here's OG. So you know for a fact that 2x plus 6 is equal to 12. And then you would solve it. Okay. That's where you wouldn't set it equal. You don't need those numbers. Just because I give you all those numbers, I'm just trying to see if you know what it's equal to. These two are congruent because it's based on those statements there. AT goes with DOG. And it kind of shows you here, and then you solve it from there. Okay. So for us to show that two triangles are the same, you have to show all the angles are congruent and all the sides are congruent. On this one here, are all the angles and sides marked? Say yes, Thomas. Amber, you were gonna say no? Okay. So on this one here, what do you guys think? Is everything, almost everything is marked, not everything is marked. So when you see this picture, those two triangles look the same, right? I mean, you look at those and they look congruent. Rule number one in geometry, you can never assume that two shapes are the exact same size of the same shape. I don't care how close they resemble each other. So on this one here, you are not allowed to mark. This is going to lead to the second part of the lesson later on today. There is something here that we can mark. I know that BC is congruent to CD because they both equal 4. So I can put 2 tick marks. Everybody agree with that? And then AC is congruent to CE. How many tick marks would I put for that one now? I would put 3, right? So this one would be 3 because AC is congruent to CE because they both have 6. Marks means that they're congruent. They just means that they're the same length. So this just means when I see this mark right here, this is telling me that the length from here to here is the same length measure from there to there. That's all that means. So we've completed, all the sides are marked. Are all the angles marked? No, right? However, I used to give Lopez bucks last year before COVID. I don't think I can give Lopez bucks, or at least I got to figure out a way to do it. This would be a Lopez buck question. Can I mark this angle right here with this angle right here? Does anyone remember what kind of angles those are by name? They're acute, but there's a name for that pair of angles. Vertical angles. I have no idea who said that because of the mask, but good job. That was the right answer. So those are vertical angles. You are allowed to mark vertical angles. You got thumbs up for that. So now everything's marked. So we can conclude that these two triangles are congruent. Okay, because everything can be marked. All right. So what I want you to do on this one here, well, let me ask you this. We obviously not everything is marked. There is something that we can mark in the triangles. What part of the triangles do they have congruent? Guys at home, you can participate too. You can stop watching videos. What did you guys do at home when you guys were at home? Tell me what they're doing right now. No, I know you guys are listening. So on this one right here, you can mark vertical angles. If I look at this triangle right here, ADB and CDB, they share a common side. Which side do they both have in common? They have BD or DB. If you look right here, they both share. It's kind of like if you ever, you live in a duplex or something, they share a wall. They share that right there. So here's the second time that you can mark. You can mark vertical angles like in the previous example. You can also mark when they share a common side. This is called the reflexive property. That is another time that you can mark. Can I assume that these are right angles down here? Can I say, I know for a fact those are right angles? No, you cannot do that. I know they look like right angles and they might be right angles. If they are not marked and they don't give you certain facts, you cannot assume that those are right angles. Don't ever do that. It's like one of the rules. And it does look, I bust out a protractor, they might be, but they might also be 89.99. So I can't guarantee that they are. So on this one here, there just isn't enough information to conclude that the triangles are congruent. Okay, I'm going to do this proof. We're not going to do a lot of proofs today, but I don't want to neglect proofs. They said to do, I'm going to do about one proof, y'all's favorite. So when you're doing one of these, we're going to do a lot of proof. Well, I don't know if you will. This class will do probably a little bit, not too much. It's mainly for honors, but you guys can handle it. But one of the things that we want to do here is we want to prove that two triangles are congruent. So to show that two triangles are congruent, you must show that all the angles are the same and all the sides are the same. If I look at both of those triangles, not everything is marked. So we're going to mark what we can mark, what we are allowed to mark. So if I look right here, remember we can mark, so what you want to do is you want to do markings first. I should have said that first. You want to mark what you can before you start the proof. If you guys remember, You can do reflexive side. They share that common side, so you're allowed to mark that. And I can also mark this angle right here. So let me start off with the side first. I can mark this because of the reflexive property. We're going to use that in the proof. And then I can mark both of these angles. What theorem can I use? Anybody know what theorem I can use? We just learned it today. I didn't expect you guys to remember it. It's the third angles theorem. If 2 out of the 3 angles in 2 triangles are the same, then the third angle has to be congruent. So anytime you have 2 angles congruent to the 2 angles of another triangle, that means that the third angle is also congruent to both triangles. So now you kind of have an idea of how you're going to do the proof. And basically what the third angles theorem is, just real quick before I start, if you have 2 triangles, oh, I didn't draw those the same. And this angle is the same as this one. This angle is the same as this one. That's all you know. Well, then you can conclude that the third angle must be congruent. That's the third angle theorem. That's just what it states. So right here, the first one is easy. That's given. That's just this right here. So LM goes with LO. MN is congruent to ON. Now, for the next statement, LN is congruent to LN. We did that up here. Which property is that? Anyone remember? That's the reflexive. LN is congruent to LN. That's the line they have in common. You can always tell that it's reflexive property when it's the same thing. It's LN is congruent to LN. LN is congruent to itself. The second one is congruent, or I mean it's given. Angle M is congruent to angle O. Angle MLN, this is just angle OLN. And then the next one, we said this was a third angles theorem. Oops. And then we can now show, since everything's marked, we can now prove that the 2 triangles are congruent. LMN is congruent to LON. And this would be just definition of congruent triangles. I just wanted to go through a proof just to kind of show you how to go, the thinking and how that goes when we're doing those and stuff. And you guys are like in a college class. This is what a college class is like in college. It's an hour and a half. If you select, you know, in college, you get to pick your own schedules. So when you select a Tuesday, Thursday class, unless you're doing a night class, they're an hour and a half. If I remember correctly. I don't know, it's been like 40 years since I've been in college. I'm really old. So there's that proof. And that takes us to that. So we'll take a little break. So if you want to stretch a little bit, we're going to set up for the next notes. And like I said, guys, we just got a lot to do today. So those of you at home, hang in there. Well, you guys get to do whatever you want over there. You can do that. But let me set up the notes for what we're doing next. Okay, how many people do we have in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, if you're doing the Pear Deck and you're going to log in, if you're not logging in, I'm going to ask that each of you pick up. And let's do, you can have all of you up at the same time. So let's start off with Travis. Once you sit down, you can go one at a time. I want you to come get one of each. And now, if you want to use the Pear Deck, you don't have to. But I want everybody to be doing it. So I'm going to walk around. If you're not doing it, I'm going to say paper. This part is going to be important for the next lesson. So if you're going to write on the screen, if you can't write on the screen, you're not getting it in the Pear Deck, then you need to, right? You need to write on the screen for this one. So Travis, are you going to write on the screen? Are you going to write on the Pear Deck, or do you need paper for the Pear Deck? Okay. So Mr. Wallace, you can write on your phone? You do anything? Okay. Yeah, please. Yeah, come on. Hey, guys, on this one, I highly recommend. There is something about doing it on the paper. Get the paper. I know you're going to get the paper, right? Go ahead. All right. Don't get too close. No, get all three, get all three. And while you're doing the notes, you might see why it's important to actually write. If you want to change your mind and get a piece of paper, you're more than welcome during the lesson to grab a piece of paper. Because I'm going to be all over the screen writing stuff. So I think, and it's real short, guys. It's not going to take long on that. Don't you guys love this weather? They're awesome. Beautiful.
But it's like when you like dress cold and you come inside, you have like all that stuff on, it's like gets hot.
So,
I take it off.
Miss McGee, paper? You're gonna do it on the Pear Deck? You're gonna write? You're gonna do it on there? William? Pear Deck? Okay. All right, guys, well, let me set up the notes. Give me a second. Have any of you guys ever done whitewater rafting? No? Man. Stuff is scary. No, we don't want to do that. Oh, Sports Center. Dodgers gonna win tonight. Okay, so if you did not pick up a paper, it is imperative that I do need you in the Pear Deck so that you can write for this one. We're not gonna write a whole lot, but there'll be about 4 slides where you're gonna like kind of do some markings and stuff like that. So you'll need it for that. No, but I want you to do it for no grade. So yeah, but yeah. So go ahead and log in, please. Have I shown you guys my house? It's finally ready. I did show it to you. Oh, I didn't? If we have time, I'll show you pictures. We're gonna go see it today for the final day. And then we do like the final walkthrough. And so they've been working on it for quite a bit. So they finally finished it. So we're excited about it. We're gonna move in Thursday. So those of you at home, make sure you're getting on. Same for you guys. And I was talking mainly to my in-person, but those of you at home, you're gonna have to do the same thing. You're going to have to write. If you're not writing on the screen, you're gonna struggle a little bit. It'll make it easier for you. So I ask that you do the same. Okay, so the code is in the upper right-hand corner, so you guys can join at any time. So as we kind of look at the screen, I want you to look in front of you. There are 5 little acronyms, or 4. There's actually 4, my bad. There's SSS, SAS, ASA, and AAS. So what are these things? So what these things basically are is they're going to help us prove triangle congruency. In the last topic, we had to show that all the angles are the same, all the sides are the same, but mathematicians always look for a more efficient, faster way to do it. So we wanted to prove two triangles are congruency. There has to be a faster way. And there is. We're going to use these four separately to prove that two triangles are congruent. They're the exact same size, the same shape. Just throwing this out there, what do you think the letter S and the letter A stand for? Just a wild guess. What do you think? Yeah, it's geometry. It would be words that we use quite a bit. One of them, I've said both of them. One of them quite a bit. The letter A, we use it in geometry a lot. Angle. What do you think the S stands for? Yeah, I heard somebody say it. I don't know. Sides, yeah. Sides. So this right here is S, S, S. Side, side, side. If you have two triangles and three sides of one triangle are the same to the three sides of another triangle, then those two triangles are congruent. SAS, if two sides and an angle are congruent to one triangle, then those two triangles are congruent. Now, one thing that I do want to mention that's real important, the order of the letters matter. You can't, where's my Zoom thing? Wait, can you guys at home, you can't even see my screen, right? Son of a, okay, hold on.
Yeah, I was wondering what I'm looking at.
You were looking at nothing. There you go. Now you can see it. My bad. Okay, so you guys could have said something. But anyhow, so those of you that are at home, we're talking about these four acronyms down at the bottom. You cannot move those letters around. In other words, and I'm not trying to be funny or anything like that, but you can't move these letters around and spell this word. These two are not the same thing. So there's an importance to the order, not because I don't want you to spell this word, is just we're not going to use it. This one doesn't work. So there's as I'm mentioning, there's an importance to the order, and I'm going to talk about that here in just a little bit. The same thing with this one. You can't move the letters around to spell this. It's not that kind of game. There's going to be meaning to the order of the letters. This is angle, side, angle, 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 side. Now, what you can do is you can flip it though. That's okay. You can do this. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can't move the S to the middle and then do this. There's a difference between this one right here, sorry, this one here, and this one here. Those are different. And I'll show you why in a little bit. So we're basically going to use these to show congruency. So how do these work? So in 4-1, to show that two triangles are congruent, I have to show that this is the same as this side is the same as this one, this side is the same as this one, and then I need to show that this angle, this angle, this angle, and then this angle is the same. So all three angles have to be the same. That's a lot of work. We're having to mark 6 different parts. When we use SSS, SAS, all those, we don't have to mark all 6 things. We can mark just 3 things. So when you look down here, down at the bottom, this is an example of SSS. S, S, S. If it has a marking, you can put a letter there. If it has a tick mark, it gets an S. S, S, S. Therefore, these two triangles are congruent by the S, S, S postulate. Those two triangles, we didn't have to mark all the angles. We're done. This one is an example of what's called SAS. Here's what I want you to pay attention to. Look at the order of the sides and the angles. Here are your two sides, and notice how the angle is in between the two sides. Angle is in the middle. The two sides are like on the outside. Do y'all see that? That's why we call it SAS. It doesn't matter where you start. No, it doesn't matter where you start. I don't start in the middle and go A, S, and then jump to the sides. You must start at either here or here, not in the middle. Never start in the middle. So this would be side, angle, side. This one is an example. Well, AS doesn't work. So this, is this an A or an S? A, so this would be A, S, S. Because I'm not going to see you guys on Thursday and Tuesday, that's why I'm not doing, I would like to do the GeoGebra, but I might go back and show you that here in a little bit. Guys, this is not on your paper, so don't write on your papers just yet. I'll tell you when to write on your papers. This would be angle, side, side. Well, there's some slides for this. So right now, if you're just paying attention, you're fine. You're good, you're good, you're good. So as will not work in this class, okay? So, and then the reason I bring that up is because we'll do a GeoGebra activity where we get to practice that. Another one that won't work is called angle, angle, angle. That one does not work. So these two do not work. The rest of them do. ASA, I want you to look, let me move this thing here. Look at the difference between angle, side, angle, and angle, angle, side. Watch, look at this. Angle, side, angle. Angle, side, angle. You notice how I don't lift my pen. I go angle, side, angle. I wouldn't do this, okay? You don't go like this. You don't do this. You don't go side, angle, pick up my pencil and come this way. It is not side, angle, angle, because the side is in between the two angles. Do y'all see the difference? That's what's over here. This would be angle, angle, side. Just don't start in the middle. This would be angle, angle, side, angle, angle, side. This one to me is in the middle. You wouldn't go, well, I guess this one you can get away with it and get it right, but you don't want to do that. Okay. And these are the postulates that I talked about. We're going to skip this screen. And now we're going to do, this is the paper. So those of you that picked up a paper, look for this one. They all look the same, right? Those of you on Pear Deck, you'll do it on the Pear Deck here in just a little bit. So please listen and so you can follow directions correctly. I want you guys at home to be doing it too. If you don't do it, you're going to struggle with this part. I'm not going to get mad at you. I'm not going to hit you across the face if you get this wrong. So what I want you to do is I want you to tell me if it's side. Oops. I want you to tell me if it's side, 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 side angle, side, or neither. You're just going to write down at the bottom. Just put what you think. It's not going to be right or wrong. And I'm not going to make fun of you too much. So do that for me, please. Do all six. Yeah. Travis, look up. This is the part. You got to do this right here. Okay. Write down SSS, SAS, or neither. Put what you think. Guys, those of you at home, if you want to share your answers on the chat, you can do that too. Okay, so hopefully everybody's had a chance to write down an answer, and we're just going to share out loud. Number one, did you guys get SSS, SAS, or neither? Yeah, this would, very good. This one is SSS. You always got to check both, by the way. So like you would do side is marked, side is marked, side is marked. Don't just check one triangle. Just because one triangle is SSS doesn't mean that it's SSS. You got to check both. This would be SSS. So yes, it checks out. You must get the same spelling, both triangles. So good job. That was SSS. What about number two? Is that SSS, SAS, or neither? Good job. This one is SAS, SAS, SAS on that one. Okay. What about number three? SSS. I want to see something right quick. Yes, SSS. Okay. What about number four? SAS. Good job. And then what about five? Neither. Anybody get anything different? That is absolutely, she said SSS, by the way. She said SSS. I also heard a neither. The correct answer is SSS. So if you guys remember that if they have a reflexive line, you can mark it. You can mark the reflexive line. So for that reason, you got that third slide now that you're missing. So good job. And then what about the last one? SAS, yeah, good job. All right, so let me clear the screen. Now I want you to look for this one. It's the same thing, same activity, but now you're gonna do 7 through 12. So look for the paper. And then you wanna do the same thing. So write down the answers. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna do SSS, SAS, or neither. Travis, number 7, if you had to pick one of these three, I'm gonna call on you guys this time, so be ready. Is this SAS, SSS, or neither? What do you think? Which one did you say? SAS. So let's just double check. And anytime you have, if you're not sure, always verify. So this would be, those of you at home, I'm gonna call on you next. I'm gonna take turns. We're gonna do in person and we're gonna do Zoom. S. So those of you at home, wake up. This would be, S, A, S, so that checks out. This, I don't want to start here, right? You don't want to start in the middle. So I'm going to start here, S, S, A. Now let me ask everybody, do those match? It kind of looks like it does, right? But here's the big difference. I wish I could move stuff here, but look at this right here, this angle right here. See how it's in between those two right there? When I trace these two, the angle that's supposed to be marked is this one. So that's kind of a tricky one, right? It's supposed to be this one right here, but it's not. This one is actually, this one is SAS, but the one on the right is actually the bad word. S. What do we say about, do we use this one? No, that's no bueno. So it doesn't match. This would actually be a neither. All right, so let's do, let me go to my, you can answer in the chat. You can answer or unmute yourself. So Travis, since you went last, can you pick a number between 1 and 12? 7, so see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Amber, you're the winner. So what did you get for number 8?
SSS.
Sweet, very nice, perfect. So this one is SSS, good job. George, you ready? What did you get for number 9? Sweet, I love it. That's SAS, so that's right. George, pick a number between 1 and 12, not 7. 4 is 1, 2, 3. Carlos? Mr. Guerrero, what did you get for number 10? Say that again, I'm sorry. Oh, got it, Mr. Guerrero, thank you. He said he typed in the chat, S. I don't know if it's for everybody to see. But SS. Good job, Mr. Guerrero. Oh, oh my. Well, there's the answers, guys. Look, Merry Christmas. So we're going to do some more. So wherever I left off, I'm going to call on you next. So be ready. If you've already gone, you can go to sleep. I'm kidding. Don't do that. So this one doesn't work. This is a neither. This is an SAS. This is an ASS. This one is a neither because it only has 2 out of 3. So let's go ahead and we'll get to that one. I know some of you are already doing the next, those of you in person are doing the next page, which is fine. But we're actually going to come back to that in a little bit. So we've done that here. I'm going to skip proofs. I'm going to record a short video that you're going to be required to watch probably for your async lesson on Thursday. So be looking out for that. I'm going to record these later. I'll make it short so that it doesn't take up like a lot of your time. So now we're going to this page. So I want you guys to look for this page. So I think Carlos went last, so we'll go with somebody in person in a little bit. I'm gonna go here, select 6 people going back and forth. I'll give you about a minute or 2. The only difference is that this time you're going to select, or you're gonna use ASA, AAS, or neither. You're only using those 3 choices, so go. Mr. Lucio, do you need another? I have a face mask that's more tight. Do you want another one? I have brand new ones. Yeah, no? This is a nice one, look. You guys dressing up for Halloween? No? You guys gonna go get candy? Don't lie. You guys gonna get the H-E-B bag, right? You're not gonna dress up? What? No. Well, we're gonna be in our new house, so the way we're located, it's kind of like out in the country, so I don't think people will come to where we're at, but We'll be outside just in case anybody shows up. We'll see. Actually, I am going to dress up. I lied. It's nothing fancy. I'm going to be a cop. The only reason is, did I tell you about my fiance, the story about a special date, the numbers? Did I tell you about that? No? Okay, so, I've been here, Madison, for 6 years. For many years, a lot of my students have been wondering when I was going to get married, and they've been giving me a hard time for the last few years and stuff. So I finally, those of you there, I don't know if you remember, but I pulled the trigger this summer. I proposed to my fiance. So I'm a math guy, right? So I'm like, I love numbers. I'm good with numbers. And so one day I was just bored, and I met my fiance on July 31st, 5 years ago. So we want to get married on that day. That's the day I proposed. So I proposed 5 years after the fact. So we want to get married on that day. So it'd be a special day. So one day I was sitting around and I added our birthdays. I just took our birthdays and added all the numbers, and it added up to 231. Guess what day out of the year is 231? The day we met. Isn't that crazy? Or is that just me being weird? Isn't that crazy that our birthdays add up to the day that we met? I don't know if I thought that was, so that day for us, we call it 212 day. So that's the day I proposed, and that's the day that I want to get married. So the reason I bring that up is because soon after we first met, we had like a holiday. It was my birthday is after, or the day before Halloween. So all my friends wanted to get together. So I dressed up as a cop, and I don't know what she was. She was like a pirate. She just looked like a good-looking pirate. And so we're going to dress up with the same costumes this Saturday to kind of relive that moment. Yeah, we're nerds, I guess. I don't know. So we're going to do that. And some of our friends want to come over that were there 5 years ago, and they're going to wear like the same costumes and stuff. So I'm going to be a cop. So I take it back. I am going to dress up. You guys ready, or y'all need more time? You good? All right, so I'm going to go with in person, and I'll go back to the Zoomers. Let's go with Mr. Bradsfield. Mr. Bradsfield, number 1, what did you get? Good job. And guys, that for any of these, if you have a question or you don't understand why it is, this was correct. He said ASA. That is the right answer. If there is a question on how to get that, or you got something else, let me know, because even though it might seem simple, they can tend to get harder. Let me go. So we're going to go to Zoomers. Michael, can you pick a number between 1 and 12, not 7 and 4? We haven't done 12? So that's you. They said 12, so that's you, Tracy. What did you get for number 2? ASA, AAS, or neither? He got... So somebody's asking, Mr. Wittenwer, whenever you're ready. So somebody in the chat asked, how do you know when it's neither? Basically, the thing cannot spell, or I mean, it doesn't spell one of these right here. So Tracy going once, going twice. He's usually here. It's not today, huh? During the summer, we could mark you absent for that, but I'm not letting us do that here. Anyway, so this brings up that question that somebody asked, Mr. Lopez, how do you know that it's neither? So this is how you can tell. On this one, can you mark anything on this picture? Yeah, you can, right? It has a reflexive side. So if I look here, they have that side in common. So I can mark that right there. So I'm not going to start with the angle. You can start with this angle here, or you can start with the side here, but don't start in between those two. So this one spells angle, angle, side. It's 2 consecutive angles back to back, and then one of the sides will touch that angle. This is angle, angle, side. Angle, angle, side. This is AAS. You wouldn't go from this angle to this side. You wouldn't go angle, side, angle. You wouldn't jump like that because this angle is not connected to that side. If this angle is not connected to that side, you can't jump from angle to this side. To go from one letter to the next, they must be connected. So you'll notice that when you go here, okay, that doesn't make sense because these two angles are not connected. You can go from one angle to the next angle. You can do that. So you can jump from this angle to this angle, that's allowed. And then since it touches this side, you can go here. So it spells angle side. Okay, so let me go with Tavon. You there? If you're there, can you do number 3? Mr. Turley? Where's all my Zoomers at? You guys scared or just not there? What's going on? All right. That's not fair, Zoomers. We're going to go with in person now. I'm going to pick on somebody. Giovanni? Number 3, what did you get? ASA? So anybody get anything different? AAS? Okay.
I got
And
AAS.
oh, thank you, Mr. Charlie. Nice. That was you, right?
No,
Oh, my bad. Who was that?
me, Angelo.
Oh, thank you. You're actually, I was going to call you next, actually, but thank you, Mr. Sacco. Appreciate it. So I think that one, this is maybe the hardest one. Actually, it's the same as this one. It's the same. This would be angle, angle, side. Angle, angle, side. For it to be angle, side, angle, the side has to be in between the two angles. Somebody said like, Mr. Lopez, so this one is angle, angle, side. Are there any questions on that? On why it's, you okay with that? It's kind of weird, right? Sometimes. So let's see. Let's do Mr. Phillips. Can you do number 4, please? Tell me what you got. You can do it through chat or unmute yourself. ASA, AS, or neither. Mr. Phillips, you there? Christian Phillips?
May I answer for this one too?
Yeah, I guess. Go ahead, Angelo. I'm depressed.
I got ASA.
A. You got something different? So we got ASA. What did you get, Mr. Wallace? Got a neither. So let's kind of look at this here real quick. Let's look at this one on the left, on the right, my bad. So this one, this is an example of angle, side, angle, because the side in the middle, or the side is in between the two angles. This would be angle, side, angle. Notice the difference with this one right here. The side in between the two angles is not marked. This is a perfect example of angle, angle, side. So this one would actually, because the letters don't match, one is angle, angle, side, one is angle, side, angle. We can't use ASA or SAA or AAS. We have to go with neither on that one. If that makes any sense on that. They both have to match. Thank you, Angelo, for helping us out there. Mr. Long. So on this one, what did you get for number 5? That is absolutely, he said AAS. That is absolutely correct, right? We got A, S, A, S. Good job. And then Amber, in person, what'd you get for 6? Good job. If you guys remember, she said ASA. If you guys remember, you can mark a reflexive side. So they shared this side right here. So this would be angle, side, angle. Angle, side, angle. That would be ASA. So for these, I wanted you guys just to get a feel for today, kind of like how to name those. And I think what we'll do is we're gonna do one more slide and then we're done for today. I know there's only 3 papers. On this one, if you want to do it on the back of one of the papers, I was trying to save some paper. Well, I don't know about saving paper. I mean, we've really saved paper this year. We don't even make copies this year. So on this one, if you guys just want to do this, we'll finish with this one. If you guys just want to answer these, you can do them on the back of your paper. I know you can't mark it. Maybe mark it in your brain. Just kind of see what you think it would be. And those of you at home, please do the same. And again, you're only using ASA, AAS, or neither. Okay, so those of you that participated, I'm going to give you extra credit to reward those of you at home. So I just want to make sure I get the right people. Let me see what's up this time. We can't see. As long as Amber, it's Angelo. Okay, I think that was it. I got 3 people at home. Amber, Angelo, and Carlos. If I missed you, let me know for the extra credit. That was y'all. That was it. And then those of you in person, I'm going to give it to y'all too because that's not fair. So even, but you guys have an advantage. You have no choice. I mean, you have a choice, but. All right. Who went last? Was that somebody in person? It was, right. So let's do Zoom. I'll just take volunteers since there's extra credit. Somebody who hasn't gone yet, give me the answer for number 7. You can do it through chat or you can speak freely. First person gets the answer though, I can't. Did somebody say something? Is it just me hearing things? It turned her mic. So really? If you guys were in person, I know you guys wouldn't be quiet. All right, Amber, I'm gonna go to you in person. What did you get for number 7? AAS. That one is correct. This should be AAS. What about number 2, Xavier? Sweet. I given up on you guys at home. So number 9, Unique.
Sir, can I answer?
Yes, Samaria, of course you can answer. Go for it. Do number 9, and then I'll come back to Miss McGee.
Okay. ASA.
That is absolutely correct. Unique and number 10. Good job. Excellent. Mr. Williams, the number 11. Number 11, what do you think? The one on the board. Yeah, good job. Perfect. This one isn't either because this one is on the left, automatically spells ASS. Doesn't matter, well, actually they both do. ASS, so this would be a neither, good job. And then the last one would be angle, angle, side, angle, angle, side. I think we'll stop right there. I don't want to overload it. I think if I did any more, you guys would be mush. So we'll go ahead and stop right there. 4-1 is posted on the Google Forms. You can do Saturdays. I will do tutoring today after school. I will give extra credit to those of you that participated in class. I think everybody in class participated. I think I got everybody. So I'll give you guys extra credit. You're welcome. Those of you at home, I mean, there's really no reason to stay on any longer. If you have a question for me, you want to ask privately, like chat about your grade or anything like that, you're more than welcome to stay on and do that. Other than that, guys, I won't see you until next Thursday. Please be looking out for stuff on for async lessons, stuff like that. Credit protection, very important that you take that seriously. You need to, work on that, start on that. If you don't know how it works, see me for tutoring. I will have some today. Today might be the last time you can get me this week for tutoring. So kind of keep that in mind. 7 minutes. Guys, those papers, you can either keep them or recycle. I would ask that you please don't leave them on your desk.
Bye, Mr. Lopez. Have a good day.
I'll see you later.
Goodbye, sir.
Later. Who said bye last? Was that the person I was calling on earlier? Really? Oh my God.